Let me start this recording like a book because every belief you have started as a story, like from a book. Most of us are still living inside this story that we never even chose. Your parents pick more than just your name. They usually end up picking your beliefs, your thoughts, your feelings, your religion, your truths, your values, your norms, your principles, and more. So growing up, the first ideas you hear about money, power, success, and like how money doesn't grow on trees, that you're either lucky you're born in it or not, or maybe you have to go to school for 12 plus years and work really hard until your body gives out and then you'll be successful or something like that. We experience it by watching our parents play that same rat race, and then as they quickly tell us to join them without question. And these conversations compound, and they start early, like day after day, month after month, until it's like year after year of these stories and beliefs. And they come from like the dinner table conversations. They come from car rides, maybe from side comments. Maybe you see them in frustration and pissed about work or money. And so these moments, they don't feel like programming. They feel like truth to us, right? My dad grew up in, he had to like wait in line for bread, for food. He had holes in his shoes and pants, and like he had to reuse underwear, like very traumatic, poverty stricken. And so he gave us that scarcity mindset in many ways. It passed down the belief, that the resentment towards rich even. And here's the part that like most people actually miss is that your parents, they're not handing you facts. They're handing you their filters, their perspective, how they viewed life, the filters for how the world works according to them. Who wins, who loses, what's actually quote unquote realistic. And even when they mean well, typically it's especially when they mean well, they pass down those same fears, pretty much disguised as wisdom, right? Money changes people for the worse. Rich people are greedy. That's not for people like us. Rich people are evil. Just be grateful for what you have. Think of the people in Africa. It sounds loving, sounds protective, but it's still programming. So if you don't program yourself, you will be programmed by the people around you. And that's not an opinion. That's psychology. Carl Jung, and I love Carl Jung, a Jungian student till the day I die, I guess. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you'll call it fate. You'll be like, that's interesting. That's weird how this just happens. People call it fate or bad luck or just circumstance, but it's conditioning at its core. And here's the brutal truth is that you don't choose most of those beliefs about, success, wealth, money and relationships, even confidence, how you should act or hide, maybe some shame. You absorb them by watching your parents pretty much teach you how you should treat money, others, so on and so forth, your own confidence. Before you were even old enough to question them, before you had language to even challenge them and be like, wait, what if I don't think I agree with you, blah, 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 right? Those beliefs run in the background and live like this invisible code programmed like in your matrix, right? So they shape what you attempt. They shape what you tolerate, what you give up on early, right? Here's why it matters is because you don't rise to the level of your motivation, you fall to the level of your beliefs. Hear that again. Replay that again. You can grind all you want. Your subconscious, if it still thinks success is dangerous or too scary, you will sabotage yourself. Maybe quietly, logically, convincingly, either way it's going to happen. And that's why this quote still is like undefeated. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. By Henry Ford. Your brain was always trying to prove itself correct. So if you believe that people like me or people that were raised like me, we're just behind, whatever, don't get ahead, your actions will make sure you stay correct. You stay true to that. So this is why changing your life, and it requires the changing of your inputs, changing of your beliefs, your stories, your thoughts, your feelings. You're cutting, not that necessarily you have to cut off family or hate your past. In fact, you have to love it, embrace it. But choosing a new reference, a new frame in the way you look at the past and your family. New voices maybe, new standards, new stories. Because if you keep listening to people who never left the room, you'll never leave the room either, right? Personal development isn't cringe. It's not fluff. It actually, if you work on yourself, it's really good. It's like a self-defense. More than that, because it's a way of life. Because you're either rewriting the script and the own narrative for your future life, or you will be replaying the old life. And that's it. It's those two options. There's no neutral. There's no middle ground. So the question I want you guys to sit with is, when you hesitate to do any kind of big move, whose voice is that? When you doubt, who taught you that doubt? Once you see that, you can decide to choose correctly. Choose again, right? So when you become the programmer itself, like you are your own architect or engineer, you stop living on autopilot. You stop calling fate what was really conditioning. So let me know if this made sense, or if you disagree or agree. If you want more kind of rebuilding mindset from the ground up, you can subscribe, and I'll do just that. I'll go over this stuff, but in the end, I do believe it's not just destiny. I do believe that we can be in a lot more control of our lives than not. And I hope you can believe that too.